I found 5 high probability trade setups that we're going to be trading next week that could easily give us a 1:3 risk reward ratio. I'm going to be breaking them down and I'll show you the best place I will be entering this market. So coming over to my screen right here, the first trade I am looking is NZD card, right? So let me show you what we have right here. So daily time frame, look on the daily time frame, you can see that we had clean rejections from this area of interest that we have, right? Very clean rejections from this area of interest. Now that is the one information. Second information is that we had at the top of this high right here, we had a doji and a very strong engulfing that engulfed about 1, 2, 3 days of price action in under 1 day. That's second information. Third information is that market structure is actually bearish because this right here will be the higher high and this right here will be the higher low, in my own opinion, right? You can argue this to be true or to be false. So the daily is actually bearish. We have a very strong area of interest, and we have a daily reversal candlestick pattern, right? That's very good. Now weekly time frame. Now, weekly time frame, you can actually argue for it to be bullish or bearish, but in this case, I'll actually just call it a very bullish market because this right here was the higher high, right here, and this right here was the higher low, and price didn't actually close under that low for us to consider this market a bearish market structure, right? But but market actually this last week, market actually rejected from this both EMA and area of interest. This is actually the daily area of interest, so market actually rejected from that area. Now, 4-hour time frame. Now, from 4-hour time frame, the first observation I can notice that this looks like a very clean market pattern that we always use all the time. It's a reversal candlestick pattern, right? Which is the left right here, head, and right shoulder right here, right? So we just need price to be clearly breaking under lows, to be clearly breaking lows for us to sell this market. But I'm being very careful, and I'll show you why. So coming over to the 1-hour time frame right here. If you come over to the 1-hour time frame, this right here is still the left head, right shoulder, still clear. It's still very clear. But if you come to this level right here, you can clearly see that around this level, which is around 0.84, 0.8490, around that level, which is right here, we notice a very strong bullish pressure buying to the upside, right? If I go over to the left, around that same level, price came to that level, tried to break it with very strong pressure, rejected, and actually bought all the way to the upside, as you can see. And this happened again right here, right? This happened again right around this level. So what's my new game plan? My new game plan is that I'm not going to just be ignoring this level like it's just a minor 1-hour support level, right? So my own game plan is that I will actually wait for a clean break. I need price to clearly be trading under that level before I look for the retracement and the confirmation for me to pretty much sell this market all the way to the daily structure point, which will be right here. This will actually be the actual daily structure point, but I'm actually take my profit before the structural point. So it will depend on if I will get a 1:2 risk reward ratio or more than a 1:2 risk reward ratio on this market. That is the first market I am willing to trade for next week. NZD card. Next pair is GBP card, and I'll show you exactly what I'm seeing. So GBP card daily time frame is clearly bullish, as you can see, right? The area of interest, as you can see, the area of interest is actually double, and I'll explain why it's double. But this right here is the daily, the first one that is closer to price, the daily, and this one under is actually the weekly area of interest, right? So we had multiple rejections from those areas, as you can see, multiple rejections from those areas, and also on the weekly time frame, we also had about 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections from those areas, right? So I'll just be keeping both area of interest, even if it's looking very not so clean on the chart, right? But I'll be keeping both of them to know the valid area from both the daily and the weekly to know where I'm going to be buying. But I just explained that this one is actually the weekly area and this one is actually the daily area of interest, right? Now, daily time frame is bullish, and weekly time frame, I don't know if it's bullish or bearish. Let's see. It's actually bearish, right? It's actually bearish. So we need at least the 4-hour to actually be bullish for us to buy, right? Now, if you come over to the 4-hour, you notice that the 4-hour has actually broken under this level, making this market structure actually bearish. So we don't have that 2 time frame in sync. but we believe that this daily area could actually hold. Now, because we don't have two time frame in sync, we have to wait for the time frame to be in sync, right? We have to wait for the time frame to be in sync, and for the two time frame to be in sync, we actually need the 4 hour time frame to actually shift structure to be bullish, right? So we need that on the 4 hour time frame. So this is now the game plan. So coming over to the 4 hour time frame, we need price to actually continue bearish for a while, and before we have a shift of structure on the 4 hour time frame, right? And an engulfing around here, not on the 4 hour time frame though, but we need the shift of structure to happen both on the 4 hour and on the 1 hour time frame, and then we look for confirmations to actually buy this market eventually, right? So the reason I need this market to continue bearish for a while is that I need it to clearly reject this area, plus the EMA is still holding price as resistance, which means that this market is still clearly bearish, right? At the time that price will actually um come back into area of interest, it will actually slow down, and then at the time that we're having the shift, it will now be holding it as support for us to continue going to the upside. So that's what I'm looking to see on GPP card. Next pair I'm looking to trade is GPPNZD. So GPPNZD, my overall direction for this market is that I need this market to continue bearish, right? I need this market to continue bearish. So I'll show you what we saw. The daily time frame is actually bearish, as you can see, and we have um at least a very clear 3 rejections from area of interest, right? Now, weekly time frame is also bearish. As you can see, this right here is the lower low and this right here is the lower high. From my drawings, I believe that this could have a much more deeper retracement to around this level at least before we start having any major market structure shifts, right? So then now the 4 hour time frame, that's where the problem is, because 4 hour time frame is still bullish, right? 4 hours time frame is still bullish. Is this market trade setup very valid right now? Yes, it is. It could actually continue selling, but I actually need it to be very clearly bearish. So that's why I'm actually waiting for a break under this level, because if price break under this level, the 4 hour will actually shift bearish, and then a retracement, and then an engulfing for me to sell to potentially this level right here. So I believe NZD, GPP NZD might continue selling this new week. I'm adding it for the pairs for this week. NZD USD is the next pair. So NZD USD daily time frame is actually bullish. This is the higher high, and this right here I'll call it the higher low. EMA is now switching bullish, as you can clearly see around here. Then the weekly time frame, in my opinion, I'll just pretty much call it bullish. The 4 hour time frame is actually still bearish. Hence, I am now waiting for price to actually shift bullish, so that at least even if the weekly is not really bullish, the daily and the 4 hour can actually be bullish, and we'll have a valid 2 time frame in sync for us to actually buy this market. So I need price to actually shift this structure to the upside, have a retracement to buy. So not all the markets are actually going to give us the opportunity we are going to be looking for next week, right? So the last pair I'm actually paying attention to is Euro NZD. So Euro NZD, I'm waiting for price to actually break above this high, have a retracement of that high, and actually potentially buy to this level right here. This line right here is actually a daily structure point, and I'll show you daily structure point, which is right here, right? Again, the area of interest is a very clean one, as you can see. One rejection right here, double rejection right here, and over to the left you also have another rejection right here. The EMA, by the way, is still holding price as support, right? And we have 2 engulfings from area of interest, right? So we could actually buy Euro NZD next week. So if you're looking at gold and you're asking what you want to see on gold, now gold, we have an area of interest right here, right? So gold, we have an area that have been respected by price even on the daily time frame, right? Also, we also had a very strong engulfing and retracement, a doji, and an engulfing again, right? On the 1 hour time frame, I'll show you how it looks. On the 1 hour time frame, it clearly looks like a strong break, having the retracement, potentially a slowdown to buy. That is the same thing that it looks on. That is how it looks again on the 4 hour time frame, right? So the 4 hour time frame can have a much more deeper retracement to potentially around this level, and maybe a doji for us to buy. Then that would be good for gold. buys next week, right? So that's pretty much the pairs I'll be trading next week, which could potentially give us a 1:3 risk to reward ratio. I'll see you guys on the Telegram channel. If you're not in the Telegram channel, this is how to join. Just come over to the channel right here, click on this link, right? And then you see this link right here that says Telegram. Just click on that one and it will take you over to the Telegram channel. I call these trades when I'm about to enter the trade, right? I call them live, and I want to see you guys win. Everything is free, by the way. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video, right? I think that's it, bro.